Steelers Nation, it's Joe Rocky with the Pittsburgh Syndicate coming at you here. And I know a lot of you are wondering, I just clicked on a video that said Matt Canada, incompetent offensive coordinator. But Joe, you just showed me a video of Warren doing a 31-yard run on the end-round jet sweep that's supposed to be Canada's calling card, which it unfortunately is. This is a video to point out a very important thing. The process is as important as the results. And we're going to go through this video because it's affecting us right now in training camp today. And I'm using historical data from last year and some video to be able to show it to you to kind of drive this point through. First off, when we look at this play from the coach's tape, we're going to see a very important thing coming down the sideline here. When the end around occurs, there are only two players that are blocking four positionally lined up Ravens. With that being said, the safety jumps into the play as well. So as we're looking at the play, what really happens is we get a great block and Warren is flat out more athletic. And this is the problem when you only look at results-based evidence. Because yes, I'm going to show you some things later that the results didn't work out. But if it's because the scheme was wrong and that's the failure, that's not okay. If there weren't results because someone just made a play, for instance, when Kenny is throwing to an out route and a corner jumps it, that's part of football. That's an okay part of life. You can live with that. What you cannot live with is incompetence from the drawing of plays. And basic things like running the ball where there are more players than blockers, that are twice as many players as blockers, might I add, is flat out negligence. I mean, there's just no other way around that. So let's dive into a spot that has a little bit more evidence where Canada had more time to think about it. This is the first drive against the Saints after the bye week. All the time you can think about in the world. Let's look at how the same end around is done.
Little pop pass. Here comes Gunnar Olszewski holding on as he spun.
Here again, you're seeing literally the same play just with Gunnar Olszewski, showing that there is the barrier of the talent is what made the play happen. So when we look at this and go, okay, Olszewski got caught up. Well, there's also this thing that every time Olszewski's on the field, that it gets hit. But the bigger part of this, and now let's show the Ravens one again, you see the Ravens safety jumping down. There was no difference in the tell, and the Ravens are able to jump on the play. They just didn't fundamentally execute it as well. See, this is what I mean by the process is more important than the results. Because as we're going through this, there's just no way you can justify scheming up plays like that. Sticking with that same Saints game in the first drive, one of the things that the Steelers were obsessed with was rolling Kenny Pickett, which when your feet are on the move, inherently, you're less accurate. But to show it here from Fox.
So Warren is in now, the rookie out of Oklahoma State. Here's what Stink was talking about, rolling Pickett out to try to simplify some things, give him half the field.
Now, I want to show this from the coach's tape looking at the line of scrimmage. The biggest problem with this play is not the rollout itself. It's the way that we're blocking the rollout. Because when you look at it, we're getting Connor Hayward coming into motion to block the premier pass rusher of the New Orleans Saints when he's not able to truly set himself at the right angle because of the virtue of the fact there's a double motion. So he has to set himself on time to avoid the flag. Furthermore, having a tight end on any team's elite pass rusher is an automatic mismatch for the offense. And to make it the key block for the play, again, having a bye week to think about this shows flat out inattention - inability to work with the details. This is not acceptable. So why are we bringing this video up here, Joe? We're in the middle of training camp. Why bring all of this data up and re-incur the past? Fair question. The reason is because each training camp we've been at here, there are wasted reps to infinity and beyond from the offense. We made such a big deal out of yesterday's episode that was one play of George Pickens going against Joey Porter Jr. And the reason for that is you get so limited reps, so few reps. So when you waste them, it doesn't work. And there's two particular elements I'm going to deal with in this section. Primary one, the Steelers do not typically do, in fact, it's less than 1% of their plays, have two running backs on the field at the same time. And there's some pretty obvious reason for this. Here's where we get to the problem of the 45-man roster for game day. The Steelers only typically dress 3 running backs unless that 4th running back is an absolute stud on special teams. McFarland is not. And he typically has never gotten a hat because of that reason. He's only dressed when there were injuries to the primary ball carriers, and he was going to be one of them for that game. He does not play special teams at all. So when we're on the field for the typical game this year, if everyone's healthy, we're only going to have two running backs, being Najee, Warren, and then if we're counting Connor Hayward as a running back, I'm counting him as a tight end, but he would be your emergency 3rd running back to get you out of a football game. That's the way this roster is drawn. So to waste routes, putting McFarland in motion out there with Najee is asinine. There's never going to be a situation that is desirable that he's going to be on the field. Sure, when there's 90 people and all of them can dress for the preseason, you look great as a preseason. When push comes to shove and we have to live in reality's terms, it's not going to be applicable. That is a major, major problem. The second thing that the Steelers have had as a legacy since Ben is irrelevant motions and motions that aren't helping the team. The tight end going in and coming out has shown nothing from the defense. And that's the typical reaction. If you want to get movement from your defense, you need to put someone across the formation. And as we can see in both of these plays for the end arounds, it does attract attention. But what you need to do is not put the ball where you just attracted the attention. Throw it or run it somewhere else. Don't put it into the attention. And that's basic, elementary things. So for those who have watched this video, we strongly thank you for watching it. I have an entire playlist of Matt Canada and why he's not capable, and a lot of different reasons throughout this experience. Please click it and check them out. Also, click like and subscribe. And as always, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.